Hey everyone, so today we're going to be speculating as far as who Joe Biden might select to be his VP. His campaign recently said that they will be announcing his choice the first week of August, and that's coming up. So this is a 13-person list of the number one contenders that Politico put out, and so I'm going to kind of go through it and say how likely I think it is that each person will be chosen and whether or not I think they'd be a good choice. But before I get into it, I will say that my dream pick, she's not on the list, but Barbara Lee from California. She's a representative. She is super progressive. Her vote on the AUMF was just, I mean, true political courage. Go look her up. She's phenomenal. But let's just dive right into this. So it starts off with Stacey Abrams, and it baffles me why she is in this conversation. I mean, I get it. She was almost governor of Georgia, but other than that, she was just a state rep, and a pretty centrist state rep. She's not this like progressive hero that a lot of people herald her as. And she okay, this also might be why I have a little bit of a problem with Stacey Abrams. She could have ran for Senate in Georgia, but she said she would rather an executive position, and because she wanted to be VP. And it's just like, no, Democrats are trying to take the Senate. You honestly probably could win a Senate seat. I mean, she's pretty popular in Georgia, and she just chose not to because she wants to be VP. And just like, I don't know. It's just I don't get it. I just don't get why she is like considered to be like such a good pick for VP. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it's not gonna happen. So we'll just keep going. Next is Tammy Baldwin. Very little national name recognition in my opinion. I don't think that very many people know who she is. But other than that, I mean, senator from Wisconsin. So you got kind of two sides of that coin. One side, maybe she helps with Wisconsin. That is a swing state. Historically, I don't think that VPs actually help that much with their home state as like conventional wisdom would have you believe. But the other side of that is if Democrats are trying to take back the Senate, losing a seat in Wisconsin, a seat that could potentially flip, does that make a lot of sense? Probably not. So I don't think she'd be a very good pick, and I also don't think that she will likely be picked. So next we have Karen Bass. So also runs into the problem of name recognition, and I think that she fairly progressive to my understanding, chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus. She's been kind of like a leader in Congress since the whole like Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, everything regarding that. Ever since that's taken place, she's really been kind of a leader. But just because she's only a representative, I think that really hurts her chances. I think she'd probably be one of the better people on the list, but because of the name recognition, I just don't think that is likely. Next, we have Keisha Lance Bottoms. I mean, she's only the mayor of Atlanta, and honestly, I think that Politico probably just wanted a more round number, and they included her. I know that was like an early supporter of Biden, or maybe not that early. She endorsed him like right after he lost Iowa, which is like, I mean, it's I guess significant to endorse someone right after they lose. But other than that, I mean, she's had some altercations with Brian Kemp. I think he's like suing her. I think it says that right here. Yeah, she's being sued by Brian Kemp. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to choose a sitting mayor. I mean, there's just it's not going to be Keisha Lance. So next we have Val Demings. So to my understanding, Val Demings is fairly conservative as far as Democrats go. She's a representative from Florida. Of the representatives on this list, she is probably the most likely. But aside from that, I don't think that it's very likely because I don't think any of the representatives are super likely. Yeah, probably the most name recognition, but that's not saying a whole lot when we're talking about just U.S. reps. So next we have Tammy Duckworth. So Tammy Duckworth is actually fairly to the left if I'm not mistaken. But the problem with Tammy Duckworth is that like recently she like made some comments about taking down a George Washington statue, and the only thing I think that Joe Biden would worry about is that Donald Trump is saying a bunch of stuff about how like, oh, Democrats hate America, and a lot of people are like, oh, Joe Biden is not like this like Antifa leftist guy that Donald Trump is trying to paint him to be, and so they think that's ridiculous. But if Joe Biden picks someone that has like made comments about like taking down George Washington statues, he might worry that will hurt him. Now, I think that I honestly tend to agree more with Tammy Duckworth on that. But I think that just strategically, I have a hard time seeing Biden picking her, and so I don't think that's very likely. Next, we have Michelle Lujan Grisham. So because she's a governor, I don't know very much about her at all. It's a little bit harder to know, like, at the national level, kind of very much about governors just because it is so, like, localized within the state and you don't know, like, where they stand on a lot of the national and international issues. So because of that, I don't want to speak too much on her. I don't think that she has very high name recognition compared to some of the other governors on this list. And so I don't think it'll be her. Next, we have Kamala Harris. And so it pains me to say it, but she is probably the number one pick on this list as far as most likely, and probably not. She wouldn't be my first choice, but I think that she does give this facade of progressivism. She's not a progressive. At least I don't know. She may have become more progressive since she's gotten to the Senate, but her history as a prosecutor, not progressive whatsoever. Against marijuana legalization, against rolling back the death penalty, against she was against stopping civil asset forfeiture. She was against like police body cameras. She was against, or maybe against is the wrong word for the body cameras, but like she wasn't good with body cameras. She like blocked evidence to get someone off of death row, and just a number of some stuff with like truancy. It just was not a progressive prosecutor, and it doesn't really make sense to choose someone who is a prosecutor during everything that's going on. But at the same time, since she's gotten to this, she's also a really, really good speaker, and I think a lot of people thought that she was going to do better in the primary. But she also has this kind of bad blood with Biden, and so people are like kind of speculating on that. But the reason why I say that she's probably the number one pick, this is like from like the day that I'm filming this came out. Joe Biden was like holding like a pamphlet, and it like had Kamala Harris's name at the top, and it said like number one. It had like a bunch of things about her underneath it, and they were like positive things. And so because of that, I think it's like fairly likely that it will be her. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, she's not my favorite person. Well, the thing that like pains me the most about that though is because she probably will run for president again, and I don't want her to be president. I would rather several other people be president before her. And so it's unfortunate, but like I mean, it's not the end of the world. But anyway, so let's move on to Susan Rice. And so, to my understanding, as National Security Advisor, dude, I did not like the things that she did, like regarding Libya, Syria, not good. I hope that he doesn't choose her. She's never actually won like an elected position before, and yeah, I think that she is actually more like in terms of name recognition than a lot of the people on this list. But just for me personally, as far as her record on foreign policy, not a fan, and so I hope he doesn't choose her. Next, we have Elizabeth Warren. On this list would easily be the person that I think I would like to see Joe Biden choose. Now, I do think that Donald Trump will definitely would weaponize the fact that she is like has this perception of being more to the left. She's not as far to the left as people say though. But also this the stuff regarding her as a Native American. I think that I swear people were playing with kid gloves with that in the primary, and like it makes sense, Democratic primary, but like that Donald Trump is not going to hold back on that. I'm sorry if you think that he is, he's just not. And I think that most people like outside of Democratic circles, that's the only thing they know about her is that she's like this leftist who like pretend to be a Native American. That is her perception to a lot of people, and I think that's unfortunate because I actually think that she's one of the better senators out there. But at the same time, I don't know if it's super likely because I do think that brochure with Kamala Harris, that kind of, I don't know why, but I just really feel like that's pretty significant. And so I hope it's her. She's probably one of the more up there contenders, and I'd like to see it be her. I don't think she would like galvanize the progressive vote that people think it would, because there's so much bad blood between like Bernie Sanders supporters and her supporters, given like some of the choices she made during the primary that we won't get into. But overall, I think that she would probably be the best pick on this list, but we'll see. Crossing our fingers. Next, we have Gretchen Whitmer, final person on the list. So she has probably the most name recognition of all the governors on this list, but it's probably not good name recognition because like when all the stuff with the lockdown started, like she was just demonized by Fox News for some of the choices she made regarding the shutdowns. That she was this like authoritarian, and like it's just everything. Like people were very, very upset with her. And I think a lot of that was undeserved. But it's definitely not going to help Biden. I don't think that she would be necessarily an asset. She is from Michigan. That could potentially help, but like I said, historically that hasn't really been a factor, like the home state of the VP. And so I think all in all, I think the most likely person is Kamala Harris. I think that's, like I said, not my favorite thing, but it's also not the end of the world. I would prefer Elizabeth Warren, but that's looking more and more unlikely. But I guess we'll see. We'll find out first week of August. If you guys disagreed with anything I said in this video, please leave a comment down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.